Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. We now stand 10 years past the midpoint of a century that has witnessed 4 major wars among great nations. Until the latest of our world conflicts, the United States had no armaments industry. American makers of plowshares could, with time and as required, make swords as well. But we can no longer risk emergency improvisation of national defense. We have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions. Added to this, 3.5 million men and women are directly engaged in the defense establishment. Now, this conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together.
Did you know that Prescott Bush, the grandfather of our current president, George W. Bush, ran a bank and other Manhattan-based organizations that were actually front companies for the Nazis? U.S. Senator Prescott Bush sat on the board of the Union Banking Corporation. This and other Manhattan-based organizations were actually nest eggs for German industrialist Fritz Thyssen. Thyssen was the main financier for the Nazis. He later published the autobiography, I Paid Hitler. Even after America had entered World War II, Bush and the Union Banking Corporation continued doing business with the Third Reich. After the start of America's intervention in the war, the U.S. government seized the holdings of the Union Banking Corporation and other Nazi-affiliated companies associated with Prescott Bush. Later, however, with the profits and contacts gained from this venture, Prescott Bush created the Bush family fortune, jump-started his own political career as a U.S. Senator, and established the Bush family dynasty. Prescott Bush was also involved with a steel company that used Nazi slave labor from the concentration camps. 2 Holocaust survivors recently sued the U.S. government and the Bush family for $40 billion, claiming the Bush dynasty benefited from Auschwitz slave labor during World War II. Many New Yorkers may not be aware that 3 of the former Bush Nazi holding companies had offices in Lower Manhattan, including the Union Banking headquarters at 39 Broadway.
second one. Hit the other one.
It's time for America to accept 9/11 for what it was. A lie which killed thousands of people, only in turn killing hundreds of thousands more to make billions upon trillions of dollars. Are you angry yet? You should be.
And this is a very mysterious symbol, which, you've heard all sorts of explanations for it, but I'm going to give you the Masonic Illuminati inner meaning of what this means tonight. And it's going to probably gross you out and astonish you, and I apologize in advance for that. But this is what it means. Crowley reveals the secret behind the all-seeing eye symbol in one of his books, the Book of Thoth, which is a very advanced manual on tarot card readings. And this is the eye of Lucifer.
Right now, that whatever you perceive to be the state of the art of technology, any technology can be civilian sector in the secret they are at least very bare minimum 50 to 100 years ahead beyond what you can even imagine.
Get back. I'm alright, Jack. Keep your hands off of my stack. Money, it's a hit. Don't get me back to good bullshit. I'm in a high fidelity first class traveling section. I think I need a lift jet. crime. Share it fairly, but don't take a slice of my pie. Money, so they say, is the root of all evil today. But if you ask for a rise, it's no surprise that they're giving none away. Away, away,
Yes, absolutely right.
I certainly was in the right.
I guess he was cruising for bruising.
I don't know, I was really drunk at the time. He just told me it was in Pilgrims at number 2. He was asking why it wasn't coming up on 3011. So after I yelled and screamed and telling him why it wasn't coming up on 3011.
If you wanna ride, don't ride the white horse. If you wanna ride, don't ride the white horse. White horse, don't ride the white horse. White horse, don't ride the white horse. No, no, no. If you wanna ride, don't ride the white horse. If you wanna ride, don't ride the white horse. If you wanna ride, don't ride the white horse. If you wanna ride, don't ride the white horse.
With billions of dollars to invest abroad in places like Houston, where the Bush family lived. They moved into this estate in one of Houston's finest neighborhoods. A bin Laden brother named Salam bin Laden and a brother-in-law, Khalid bin Mahfouz. Mahfouz was also one of the Saudi royal family's bankers.
Don't ride the white horse. White horse, don't ride the white horse. No, no, no. If you wanna be rich, you got to be a bitch. I said rich.
It was a military plane.
That wasn't all. A few years later, another oil company in which George W. Bush was involved needed cash. It got a reported $25 million, again, thanks in part to Bush's old Houston neighbor, Khalid bin Mahfouz, Osama bin Laden's brother-in-law. And it wasn't only George Bush the son who benefited. The bin Ladens did business with the Houston bank where George Bush Sr. was on the board.
What time is it? Victory time. This is the non-political part of this. Come on.
And businessman Bill White says whether Bush Sr. knew it or not, the bin Ladens were also generous with him when he ran for president in 1988, allegedly finding a way around the U.S. ban on foreign campaign contributions.
My understanding from Bath was that they were making campaign contributions by taking briefcases full of cash to the law firms. They would give the cash to the lawyers, and each of the lawyers in turn would make a $1,000 campaign contribution to Bush.
Which would presumably be against electoral law in the U.S.
Well, it is against the law, but it's obviously covered by virtue of the attorneys making the contributions.
It was essentially the same deal George W. Bush himself made when he did business with the bin Ladens in Houston. One side got a powerful partner, the other, oil and money. Former CIA agent Robert Baer.
The United States depends upon Saudi Arabia for its oil production. Saudi Arabia also recycles all the money it makes off oil in the United States. Puts trillions of dollars in our banks. It pays for presidential libraries. Anything you can imagine.
And the Clinton White House wasn't immune to Saudi charm either. It was difficult not to give the benefit of the doubt to the biggest buyer of American military hardware with the deepest pockets in the stock market, not to mention the world's largest oil reserves. Which is why after George Bush Sr. left office and became a senior advisor to the powerful international investment firm, the Carlyle Group, he paid a number of visits on their behalf to his good friends, the Saudi royal family and the bin Ladens.
A very nice reunion with friends. I'm very pleased to be here.
They soon became Carlyle clients. Incredibly, on September 11th, Bush and the head of the bin Laden family would be at the same Carlyle Group meeting in Washington, just a few miles from where Osama bin Laden's hijackers would attack the Pentagon.
If you wanna be rich, you got to be a bitch. 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 Rich. You bitch. If you wanna ride the
whatever we have done was legal, and whatever decision I will make will be reviewed by the Justice Department to determine whether or not the legality is there. And the reason why there's a difference between what happened in the past and today is there's new law. And so to answer your question, whatever we will do will be legal.